So I just wanted to make this video. I kind of felt compelled to talk about this whole notion of systemic racism and white privilege. The notion that these things actually exist, and people are buying into this nonsense. Look, I'm not going to deny that there are racists out there. Obviously, there's always we don't live in a perfect world. There's always going to be individual racists out there. But to conflate that and say that the whole system and the whole system of the West, Canada or the States and whatnot, all their institutions are inherently racist, like, that's not true. And nobody can give you, and I hate that too. They always say, like, oh, a denial of the systemic racism is proof that you're racist. No, that makes no sense. Okay, this whole thing doesn't make any sense. Okay, and the only thing this serves, like things like CRT and this whole systemic racism nonsense, the only thing it serves to do is just create more divide and more racial tension, and that's the point. That's the agenda. Like, do you really think an immigrant family is going to move to Canada or the States? Do you really think they're going to move to a country that oppresses people of color or oppresses women or whatever? No, it doesn't make any sense. They're not going to do that. Meanwhile, there are actual other countries in the world that actually still have slavery, but they keep going on and on about the systemic racism in the West. It doesn't exist. It is not ingrained in the system. Now, that is not to say like that systemic racism never existed. Obviously, in our past, it has. But to keep it on, to keep this whole systemic racism thing on life support is not doing any good. It's just creating more racial tension and more divide. Yeah, those people say, "Oh, you can't speak about it because you're coming from a place of privilege because you're white." Look, man, I'm poor. Okay, really? So I'm privileged? You're telling me that I'm privileged because of my skin color? I hate to tell you this, but no, I'm not. Okay, like, we all have the same opportunities regardless of our race or skin color. Okay. If I was really privileged, do you think I'd be living in a freaking mansion right now? Okay? No, it all has to do with the choices we make, how we're brought up, how our parents. This whole idea of just saying that black people or people of color are victims, or just naturally victims, and that white people are benefiting from it. This is not true. This is a fallacy, and it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be called out. That's why I felt compelled to make this video. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, call this stuff out for what it is. It's a fallacy. It's nonsense. It's disgusting propaganda. Yeah, doesn't exist, folks.